The focus of this session is going to be on the operations that align to the standards for kindergarten. So one of the things that we have to do is we have to do basic addition and subtraction. And of course, you want to build fluency with kids at this grade level. So we could just start off with very simple, 2 plus 3. And we're asking the kids, what is the answer? Now, one of the things later on, as the grades increase, you're going to learn that we don't want kids to think that the equal sign means here comes the answer. But in this case, it's because we really are looking for the sum of these. So you ask a kid, what is 2 plus 3? Now, remember, they're only using their ones and tens disc. So there's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And you may have a kid who aligns it like that. You may have a kid who goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're probably in kindergarten going to pick out 2 discs, pick out 3 discs, and no matter how they arrange them, they're going to go back and they're going to count. And hopefully they're knowing that when I touch, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last thing that I name quantifies that group. Okay, let's try another one. 4 plus 5. Of course, I'm going to consistently encourage kids by me modeling the 10 frame. 4 plus 5. And notice what's happening here. That I'm going to build that 10 frame where I can see that 1 is missing to make a bundle of 10 or 10 ones. Yes, we could add these this direction and it would not make any difference whatsoever. That is still 5 plus 4 because you don't know how kids are going to arrange them. But like I said, I'm going to always encourage kids to put them in some kind of system of organization. Now, we can talk about that you know that it's 1 less than if this was completely filled. If it was completely filled, it would be 10. But because there's 1 missing, what is this quantity? Kids may go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or if you arranged it exactly the way the problem was written, they may say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But of course, we're looking for that answer of 9. But in comparison to 10, and I think that's a high ceiling math question. I think you can go ahead and push kindergartners to say, well, how many more is it going to take to make 10? Because remember when we were in the number session, one of your standards says that you want children to be able to make 10s and know all those combinations. Okay, now let's look at a subtraction problem, which in this case is really going to be a takeaway. And so I'm going to go ahead and write this over here that you know this is a takeaway. We're going to move at higher grade levels to where they'll be looking at another type of subtraction problem called a comparison. But right now it's just a takeaway. Okay, well, this is kind of interesting. Of course, it only worked because that's what I had. But you have the kids start off and make 9. Again, I'm going to always make mine using a 10 frame. Because as a teacher, I'm going to model that. Okay, I've got 9 things here. And I'm going to remove 3. If I literally started with a set of 9 and I took away 3, how many do I have left? Hopefully a kid can begin to almost subbatize these. That's 5, 6. Of course, I know you're going to have kids, especially at the beginning, that's going to count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do some high ceiling questions here. So what can you tell me about the number 6? What is 6? Well, it's 5 and 1 more. What else is it? Well, it's 3 and 3. Okay, well, what else is it? Well, it's 2, 2, and 2. Okay, what else is it? Well, it's 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. And just let kids flow with their thinking. Okay, let's look at another one. If we started off with 7, so what is 7? It's 5 and 2 more. And I took away 6 of these. Now this will be interesting to see how the kids take away 6. When they really can subitize that 5 and 1 more, they're probably going to wipe out that 5 and 1 more. And what do we have left? We have 1. While other kids may have to look at this and they literally may have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my 6 and I still ended up with 1. That kind of models the thinking of a number line to me, where if I started off with the number 7 and then I was hopping backward 6, I'm literally hopping back 1, so that removes 1. Hop back 1, that removes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that was showing me the 7 minus 6. Okay, one of your other standards says that we are supposed to be able to add and subtract within 20. So let's look at this. 7 plus 2. So if we were going to find the sum of 7 and 2, how many do I have all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to add 2 more to that. So this time, I didn't arrange that. I just did it like maybe a kindergarten did. And you say, well, how many is all of this? They're probably going to go back and count. And that's where they lose track of counting sometimes because of that one-to-one correspondence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the last count quantifies the group. Okay, let's look at this problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this time I'm going to put it in a 10 frame. But now I'm supposed to add 9. You may have a kid that goes, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So how many is this when we have that? Well, it's pretty easy right now. This just kind of come out pretty cool for kids. That's a 5, that's a 5, and that's a 5. So if they know how to skip count by 5s, they could go 5, 10, 15. If they don't, then of course at the beginning, they're going to probably go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Doesn't really matter how they find 15 as long as they come up with that answer of 15. You could also have a problem like 14 plus 5, because remember, as long as we stay within 20. This time, I'm going to say that a child said, well, I know that 14 is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And now I need 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many is this in all? This is a 10. So this represents one bundle of 10 ones. So we can say 10 instead of saying 1. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now, of course, if they didn't use this, they would have used 10 ones. And that's just going to reinforce that 10 ones is the same thing as 110. Okay, now let's look at a subtraction. We've basically already done several that were like this one. If we had 9 and I told you to take away 4, how many do I have left? Hopefully by now they're going to subitize that that's a group of 5. Now let's look at one where we have a 2-digit number. Okay, so now let's say a kid says, well, here's 10, 11, 12. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm supposed to remove 8 from here. Well, I don't even have 8 up here. Or would a child realize, yes, you do, because you've got one group of 10, which remember is the same thing as a bundle of 10. Now, I can actually remove 8. Hopefully they'll say, well, I can remove 5. They probably are going to count those out. 5, 6, 7, 8. How many do I have left? They may even line them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this concludes this session. And remember, what you're trying to do with kindergarten is just to build that fluency of using these discs that represent ones, or eventually getting the kid, especially by the end of the year, to recognize that 10 ones was the same thing as 110, and that you can trade these up or trade them back down and get 10 ones. And my friend reminded me, it's just kind of like money. If I ask you for $10, I can either give you one $10 bill or I can give you 10 ones. And then this will help build and prepare kids for first grade.